So according to Talk TV's Alex Phillips, working class equates to being far right. Is that true? Well, obviously not. But the picture is complicated. So we have to go back to 2016. Trump and Brexit were considered a white working class revolt against the corporate cosmopolitan elite. But again, is this true? Well, no. You look at the demographics, the voting demographics, only a marginal increase in the white working class vote for Donald Trump compared to Barack Obama and George Bush, and then 52% of the population who voted for Brexit in England were actually South East England middle class Daily Mail voters. So the idea that Farage, Donald Trump and Boris Johnson, their political project is the will of the people, is simply inaccurate. They like to present themselves the far right, the extremists who want immigration to stop, like to present themselves as common sense, it's the will of the people. But your average working class person doesn't want this. Your average working class person is the median voter. They're pretty middle ground on immigration. They see the benefits and they see the potential challenges with infrastructure. But we just have to invest in infrastructure, build houses. We have to invest in our future. We've not been doing that for 14 years. Now we need to do that. It's really that simple. So the idea that figures like Farage, Boris Johnson, Donald Trump are representing the will of the people is not only factually inaccurate, it's philosophically inaccurate, because these are middle class. They're in favour of the ruling class. Their political projects favour the ruling class and are against the interests of the working class. Why would someone who is privately educated, went to Eton, Farage went to Dulwich College, work towards helping working class people? It's not in their interest. And that's not what they're doing. They present it like that, like Hitler did. Hitler presented himself as a socialist. He's going to help the working class. He's going to create jobs. Did he do that? He did, but not in a great way. And everybody knows you have to mobilise the working class because they're the majority. And it's very politically powerful to use the mainstream media to do that. And that's what they've done. And we can't underestimate the power of the media. You know, Rupert Murdoch's owned the Times, the Sun, Daily Mail, Express, the Telegraph, the Daily Star. These are all tools for the ruling class. And they have been very much pro-immigration, pro-Brexit. And they do not represent the working people. But they've been convinced because manufacturing consent, the power of the media, we can't underestimate it. Because people like to think they're immune to advertising and propaganda. But why do you think people spend so much money on this stuff? Why does Rupert Murdoch, even though the Sun is hemorrhaging money, 10% sales down each year, why is he still pumping money into it? Because it has power. It has massive reach, not as much as it used to, but it does have big reach. So the idea that Farage represents the working class interest is simply not true, because if he did, he would represent all working class people. The working class movement is an international movement. It shouldn't see borders, and it should see all working class people, be it gay, black, white, woman, whatever, trans, as equal, part of an intersectional community of the working class. But he doesn't. He doesn't talk about jobs and economy in terms of the larger systemic structures. He talks about jobs and economy in terms of stopping brown people coming over here. So, again, most people who are working class, again, brown people, gay people, whatever, he's manipulated a small amount of people to believe that he cares about the working class and that his policies and his ideology favour the working class, whereas they actually don't, because if they did, he wouldn't be advocating for them because of his class interests. It's really that simple. And also, again, he doesn't care about the working class because if you do, you care about all the working class, and that's all it's about. It's all about race and nation. He doesn't care about the working class, but he can't say that, so he has to put it in terms of the white working class figure who's being disenfranchised, they're alienated, and that simply isn't true in the way he presents. Obviously they are. There's a lot of alienation throughout the working class communities because of rampant inequality, because of austerity, because of many problems, but they stem from capitalism, not brown people coming over trying to have a good life. So I think some people obviously see Brexit, most people say Brexit for what it was, a complete sham. But in the coming years, I think people will see Farage for who he is, and most people do. It's a small minority. Again, UKIP 10 years ago or so had about a 13 or 14% vote share, and it's the same with Reform now. So it's the same amount of people. These people aren't increasing, they're just more vocal. With the internet, social media, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all these social media campaigns, it's amplifying their voices. And obviously they're very active online, as I know. Hi. And we have to fight back against this misinformation, because that's all they have is lies and misinformation. We act like, this is just an anomaly, this Syrian person who doesn't exist. No, they rely on misinformation against climate change, immigration, trans rights. They rely on lies. Their philosophy is built on misinformation. They rely on that. It's fundamental to conservatism, because if they did look at the facts, it just goes against their worldview. They don't see people as equal. They don't see brown people as the same, whereas we are basically all the same. So on that note, comment below, are working class people equatable to the far right? I don't believe so. Comment below and I'll see you in the next video.